As today's International Construction Management Day, it's perhaps fitting that our last speaker is representing the contractors. Joe McLoughlin is the main board director of John Sisk and Son, and Joe has over 34 years of construction experience. He's managed in excess of €1.2 billion worth of projects across all sectors, including industrial, process, commercial, retail, health and education. He's carried out projects in a senior management capacity throughout Ireland, Zimbabwe and South Africa, and has worked with the Sisk organisation since 1979, apart from a number of years spent working in South Africa. John Sisk and Son is an international construction company with a turnover of more than €1 billion per annum. Headquarters in Ireland, they have operations in the UK, Poland and the United Arab Emirates. They have over 150 years of experience and to this day remain a family-run business, now in its fifth generation. Joe will give us his take on the past few years, how Sisks have adapted and hopefully how they plan to flourish for the next 150 years. Thank you.
Thanks, Martin. Good afternoon, everybody, ladies and gentlemen. What I'd like to, the way I'd handle this is probably look back a little bit, because you can't really look forward without looking back. I'll go back and look back over the recession as it's now called. Every time I see the word recession, I think of Harry Truman, the difference between a recession and a depression. When he was asked, he said a recession is when your neighbour is out of work, and a depression is when you're out of work yourself. So I'll also look at where we should be, economically speaking. I'll look at our own performance, Sisk performance over the past number of years, how we have fared when you compare it to the economy at large. I will talk about our medium-term strategy in trying to deal with what is a pretty difficult situation, and I'll end up with some summary and conclusions. So here you've got the high-level figures. Don touched on them already. Forgive me if I run through them again. You have the 38 billion that we had in 2007, 2008, dropping back to 8 billion construction output generally in the economy, dropping from nearly 23% of GDP down to nearly 5%, 6% now. Employment dropping from 270,000 down to 98,000, sorry, 98,000. Looking at it graphically, that depicts it fairly starkly what has happened. You can see that the savage drop. On the 36 billion there in 2007, 25 billion of that 36 billion, nearly two-thirds was made up of housing and residential units. We were building 90,000 units for a population of 4 million. That was 22 units per 1,000 of population, when the normal statistic across Europe was about 8 or 9. Forgive me a bit. By any standards, that's a traumatic change in the environment, and it probably accounts for why so many people are leaving our shores for Alberta and Nova Scotia and other places. The red line here, the red line is where it should be. In a normal economy, you would normally be looking at GDP or at construction output being about 10% of GDP, which Don touched on. And there's a historical chart which shows where we came up with that figure. If you look at the countries across Europe, you have Finland right across to Ireland. There seems to be a 10% average coming out there. In that chart, you'll see what happened with Spain and Ireland. We went way above it, and we ended up with the problem that we now have, where it's way below average. So the question is, will the construction output come back up to the red line over the next number of years, or will it continue where it is? moving along at about 8 billion. And that is a central question, I suppose, that I'm trying to address. Well, unfortunately, I probably disagree with Don and what he has said to some degree. I wouldn't be as optimistic as he would be about the future. Here, predictions seem to indicate that it will continue at around 8 billion, which is about half where it should be. And there are a number of reasons for that. There are a number of reasons I feel it isn't going to come up quickly. It will come up eventually, it always does, but it won't come up quickly because of three main reasons. Credit is going to remain very tight. The government spending is going to remain tight because of budgetary constraints that everybody knows about. And consumer spending is on the floor and will remain on the floor while the present austerity budgets are in place. So there is I don't see any quick fix in the short term over the next 2 to 3 years. I think it will be a struggle, it will be a challenging environment. So how have we as an organisation fared through all of this, and where does it appear to be going? If you look at our turnover, it has probably not has dropped as dramatically as the economy, as the construction output dropped in the economy. We're going at about 800 million. We were in 2008 at about 1.2 billion. We've dropped back to about 800 million. And the reason for that is that we operate in the UK as well. And it's one of the arguments for having a diversified portfolio, if you can, geographically, and I'll come back to that. But when one area is down, another area can carry you, and that is effectively what happened with our turnover. The UK actually came up when ours went down drastically here. The return on capital employed and PBT took a fair hit, as you can see, and that's partly due to things that went on in Europe, which I'll touch on. And the HR data chart, I'll come back to that in a few minutes, because I think it's important regarding the strategy going forward. So how do you deal with an environment like that? We as an organisation have to deal with a turnover that has effectively dropped to a fifth of what it was. That's what your market has become. So you could deal with it in a number of ways. You could go out of business, which a number of organisations have. You could put up the shutters and go home and not continue working anymore. Or you can try and face up to it and see what you can do. So these headings are effectively the strategy that we've adopted, and to take up on Don's point, we believe it will pass. Things will get better. If not in the next 2 or 3 years, they eventually will return to better times. And what we've effectively done is invested in a strategy which will allow us to survive in the short term and be there when things pick up in the longer term. So running down through them, increase the level of service, I'll touch on it, focus on the areas of growth with potential for margin and keep away from areas that don't. Now you think that would be a no-brainer, but it's not as obvious as it seems. We're shifting from a regional to a sector focus. We're leveraging off the strengths that we have in Ireland. Diversify is something that will only be done with extreme caution going forward. We'll right size, which means cutting the company back to a size where it can deal with the current reality. That's mainly been done at this stage. And we'll retain, source and develop the best staff, absolutely vital. The Zero project, this is where we were up in our game. We said, what can we do better? How can we differentiate ourselves so that we will be there for the future, that we can be in a better place? And this was an initiative that was launched in October 2010. And it was basically to target having 0 accidents, 0 incidents, and 0 defects in our jobs at handover. It is much more than an aspirational statement. It is an organisational-wide change process from the top down and from the bottom up, permeating right through the organisation at every level. It is not something I would recommend anyone take on lightly. It has required a hell of an investment in effort, a hell of an investment in commitment from staff. But it has yielded results, and we have won a number of high-profile contracts on the back of it, because a lot of the clients that we work with want this and absolutely demand it now. Regarding the markets that we'll operate in going forward, and you have to focus on the markets where you're going to get margin and turnover. As I said, we have shifted from a regional to a sector focus. Traditionally in Ireland, construction companies tended to be structured regionally. You had a southern region, a northern region, an eastern region, whatever. There is a shift now to move towards a sector focus where you have groups of people who focus on different sectors, be it power, pharmaceutical, whatever. The reason for that is quite obvious. If you're dealing with a client in Glasgow, he's not interested in whether you come from Tralee or Buncrana or where you have your office. What he does want to know is, what do you know about the project that he's going to build? What experience have you got of it? What's your track record in it? Hence, it's a readjustment of the organisation towards the customer. One of our primary areas in Ireland that we're targeting from a sector point of view as a company is the foreign direct investment sector. And if there's one thing that we'd all want to collectively give thanks for every morning is FDI, because without it, as a country, we would be in a much worse position than we're in at the moment. But a lot of our work we target is in the FDI area and covers the areas of pharmaceutical, electronic, IT, and I'll show you a chart in a few minutes which will show you some of the clients that we work with. The green economy is another area that we're targeting. At the moment on the biomass sector, I would be looking at approximately 200 million euros worth of projects. I don't know will they all happen, they may or they may not, but at least we're looking at them. The waste to energy, I'll show you a chart in a minute of one of the waste to energy projects, is an area that has potential. We're looking at approximately 200 million worth of projects in that. Whether waste to energy can be regarded as green or not is another debate for another day, but it's one of the vibrant areas at the moment. And we're also involved in wind projects, and we continue to do work in the retail sector with clients on a repeat basis who work with us throughout Ireland, UK, and a number of projects in Germany and Austria. I put up there a chart of the organisations that we work with, and as you will see, a lot of them are from the FDI sector, the foreign direct investment. A lot of them are American clients, Scandinavian, what have you. On that chart there, I would be currently working with 5 of them. As a company, overall, we're probably working right now, we would have live projects with probably about 12 to 13 of them. Some examples of what I'm on about. The Bombardier project in Belfast, we went into Belfast 4 years ago after being out of it for about 30 years. We left it when the trouble started. We returned to it about 4 years ago. This was a project that we did for Bombardier. They're manufacturing their new C-Series aeroplane, part of it in Belfast, in East Belfast. It's based in carbon fibre technology. This was a 30,000 square metre manufacturing facility. As I said, we went in there in 2009. We have done 3 to 4 projects with them since. We're on the 4th project, continually doing repeat work. Microsoft, everybody knows the name. We've carried out 1 project at 26,000 square metres. We have done a second one since then, and we commenced a 3rd one in the last 2 months. Again, repeat work, same client. I put that one up there as an example of the green energy, the waste to energy project in Duleek, the only incinerator in Ireland operating at the moment. Challenging project. Again, I'm putting it up there as an example of one of the sectors that we have targeted. That particular bunker there is about over 35 metres high. It was poured in the winter of 2010, if you remember it, January 2010. That is Ireland. What about the UK? That's the other big area that we operate in. Of the 800 million that we have, approximately half it is in Ireland and half it is in the UK at the moment. And probably in the next 2 2 years, the UK will exceed Ireland by a considerable amount. In other words, it's grown way faster than Ireland. So in the UK, we're probably the leading contractor in hotels in the London area. Strange development, but it was built on the back of hotels that were built in Ireland, and our expertise here probably won't be much of them built in the near future. I think we've enough to keep us going for quite a while. Civils and roads, likewise, again built on the back of the work that we did in Ireland, with Roadbridge mainly. We had a JV going with Roadbridge for a number of years. Health and education in Northern Ireland, we're involved in tendering, will be tendering for 3 major healthcare projects in Northern Ireland in the region of 80 to 100 million each. There's also a number of educational projects in Northern Ireland, the Ulster University being one. Again, foreign direct investment in the UK, again being built on the back of what we do in Ireland. And the green economy is the other area in the UK, again built on the back of what we did in Ireland. So some examples of what we're doing in the UK: the ShangriLa Hotel in London, 40 million, I think it's over nearly 300 metres high, if my memory serves me right. I don't think I'll be staying there anytime soon. I think the bills are quite expensive place to stay from what I can gather, but a state-of-the-art hotel. The Runcorn Thermal Power Station. The power station I showed you earlier on was Duleek. That's in Indover. That's 200,000 tonne a year. Runcorn is 750,000 tonne. 2 of those plants would do all of the waste in Ireland. The total waste produced in Ireland, I think, is about 1.5 million tonnes of MSW. This particular waste energy plant puts through about 750,000 tonne. Again, one on the back of what we did and what we're doing in Ireland. So you can see the strategy that I'm talking about. You develop an expertise where you're strong, you export it and try and develop it. Ireland is a population of 4 million, and the UK has a population of 60 million, so the market in the UK is massive compared to the market in Ireland. Geographical diversification, a hot topic and one that's talked about a lot within the company, and it talked a lot about within the industry. When things are bad, everybody says, let's go off and we'll go work somewhere else. Not a good idea. When I talk about diversification here, I'm talking about geographical diversification, i.e. going to work in another area. First of all, it's risky. Very risky. And I quote there, it appears that new ventures need on average 8 years before they reach profitability. That's a quotation from a fellow by the name of Ralph Bigadike in the Harvard Business Review in 1979. A lot of people don't realise that. Diversification is risky. And the time you diversify is when things are good. In other words, if you're working in your home market and your money is pouring in and things are good, that's the time you diversify. You do not diversify when things are bad and you're lean, and when money is lean and scarce. It's not the time to do it, because you need the money to bankroll whatever you're going to go into. It will need it for a number of years as it gets up and running. So it's not something you would be advocating in the short term, in the times that are in it in Ireland. I'm sure some of you have seen the coverage in the press. We were in Poland. We decided to go into Poland a number of years ago. We've had a challenging time, to put it mildly, there. We have claims that may go on for 4 to 5 years of in excess of 200 million. We have to try and carry them. Now, we've dealt with them from an account point of view, but as an organisation, you have to be able to carry that type of risk if you do diversify. And you have to have a pocket deep enough to be able to carry it. So going forward, it won't be a strategy that we'll be advocating in the short term anyway. I think you wouldn't really want to put your hand up in the company and be talking about going to a new country right now. And if we do, it'll be with extreme caution, and it'll be very much leveraging on the strengths that we have in Ireland and with current clients in Ireland. HR and staff. This chart shows the ratio of the training days to the total headcount in the company. And if you look at 2008, the ratio is probably about 2. At this stage, it's about 2.5. In other words, we're investing a lot more now in staff than we have ever done, even though things are not good financially, if you like. We're in a recession, but we are investing in people. We are investing for the future. Because as Don says, if we're to ramp back up when things do pick up, you'll need to have the resources to do it. And our strategy is survive and develop while we're here and be ready for it when it comes again. Regarding staff, and I'm conscious I'm in Galway IT or Galway NEOI, what is it that we see, when people often say to me when you're interviewing somebody or that, what do you be looking for? What kind of people are you looking for? And I put down here probably 5 bullet points that I would always have on any list I'd be looking at, that you're excelling in whatever discipline you're in, be it surveying, be it construction management, be it engineering, that you're up there at the top of the group, that you have a work ethic, very important. If you haven't got a work ethic, I think you should choose some other walk in life other than this industry. The ability to work in teams, the ability to self-motivate, and the ability to integrate design, construction and commercial knowledge are very important attribute, and one that's very hard to get. Current shortages that we have right now are process engineers. That's no surprise when you consider the portfolio work that we're looking at. Mechanical, electrical control qualifications, design, construction, commercial experience in those qualifications. Very hard to get, actually. Even though there's a lot of people leaving the country and there's a major shortage of work here, it is very hard to get people in those disciplines right now. Graduates, I think there'll be limited opportunities at the moment, but this will change over the coming 2 to 3 years as we come out of where we are. And when it does, it'll be back into another boom and there'll be a big shortage of people again. That's the way this industry goes. And people often say to me, what should I do? I mean, IT might be the hot thing at the moment, so do I do an IT course? Or, I say to my own children, don't chase the market. Make up your mind what you want to do in life and do it. The market will always be cyclical. It will always go up and down. And the main thing is to be doing something that you're happy at. So in summary, the current situation is challenging. There's no doubt about that. Organisations like ours have to become focused to survive. We have to focus on the markets where there's growth and margin potential and ruthlessly cut out any where there isn't. We can't afford to be running around chasing markets that don't yield turnover or, well, more importantly, don't yield margin. We're focusing on knowledge-based sectors, like I said, the pharmaceutical, the IT. We will be working with demanding clients. They'll demand and expect a high standard in what we deliver. They will pay, always a help. There will be areas where there'll be margin, and they have continuity of work. Diversification, as I said, we will only pursue it with caution going forward. And I put that up there because, as I said, what doesn't kill you will make you strong. Definitely we're in a time of extreme challenge at the moment, and I think as an organisation, the way we're dealing with that is we're investing in the future and developing our product and our expertise to be there for the better times ahead. Thank you.